Welcome to round 7 of the World Rally Championship Pro for 2001. And these are your constructor standings after 6 rounds. And we are now in Greece for round 7. And oh boy, is this one going to be a bitch, because if you go off here, you will pay quite a price, to say the least, if you go off here. So, my only real advice is make sure you stay on the road most of the time whilst you're at it. Otherwise, you'll pay a hefty price, as I now know from my prior experience.
3, 2, 1, go!
Right.
Right 2, into left 5.
Here we are now for the Acropolis rally.
150, right
And
5.
immediately I slam into the yellow tape. That does not surprise me in any way.
Over crest.
Now there is one certain corner on this stage where you really have to be careful. And you have to make sure you stay on the road as well whilst you're at it. Otherwise, if you don't, then well, you pretty much have a very minimal chance to recover. And I think it's over this crest here. And I've lost even more time.
200, right 4.
Yeah, these corners definitely have steep drops if you go off. So you need to make sure you stay on the road at all times through these 2 corners. Because if you don't, there is a steep fucking drop that will kill you if you don't. And that's one way to pretty much put it bluntly. I should also mention, because of a few problems I've had here in Greece, to say the least, this is now my, I think, 3rd attempt of recording this, if I'm not mistaken. So, as you can imagine, this has rather been tough sledding for me. But regardless, I get to the end of the stage, and in spite of my poor start, I managed to bring it back again towards the end of the stage by virtually 9/10 of a second. Not bad. And so here we are. And also whilst I'm at it, I might as well put in my channel initials because, well, I figure that's probably the best way to get the message across. So yeah, this is actually my, I think, either my 4th or 5th attempt of recording this, because every other time I tried, I've either gone off on those steep drops, or the capture card or solid state drive software decided to pretty much just say no thanks and cut me off. And that's basically what it did to me a few times. The capture card software basically kicked me off last time. So these are the results from stage 1, as I won by virtually 9/10 of a second over Colin McRae, Carlos Sainz in 3rd, then Richard Burns 4th, Toshihiro Arai in 5th, and Freddie Loix in 6th, with Tommy Mäkinen being best of the rest in the other Evo 6. And there is P7 to 12, and of course the other results. I feel like I've explained it enough times now to not mention it again, with Jesus Puras at the bottom. So these are your rally standings after stage 1. DNFs don't exist in this game, so pretty much everyone is still running, and they will most likely keep running until the end of the rally, because DNFs are not present in the Evolution WRC series until WRC 2. Okay, let's head to stage 2.
Three, two, one, go. Long right 4.
And so we begin stage 2. In spite of me having a poor start to the previous stage, I was able to claw back the margins and put together a stage win by virtually 9/10 of a second. Although, I would imagine that's probably not going to keep happening from here onwards because, well, it's hard to say for sure where exactly I stand on this. And Tommy Mäkinen is now inside the top 4, so I think whatever chances Toshihiro had of scoring points now, I think they're slowly but surely going to be rescinded. Because I'm pretty sure that the Mitsus are definitely running at a stronger pace than what I think stage 1 would have suggested. I guess we'll just have to wait and see to be sure over what happens next.
50, left 3, caution, over jump, 100,
Okay.
left 5,
So I'm now a second up,
into right 5,
and at this time, as long as I don't make too many mistakes, I should at least be on course to potentially finish second here, if I can manage to keep my car on the road for long enough. And that's a pretty steep drop if I go off there. Gotta make sure I stay on the road whilst I'm at it. And seems as though for now everything looks to be going well as I head straight through a shrew. And that is the end of stage 2, with a 3-second victory over Carlos, who will now surely take over P2. Two stages down, and I gotta say, that actually felt okay. That actually went by better than I thought it was going to. Oh, it was stage 4 I saved it previously. I'll make sure to do that again. So these are the results for stage 2, as I add a further 3.5 seconds to my lead over Carlos Sainz, Colin McRae 3rd, Tommy Mäkinen 4th, then Freddie Loix 5th, and Toshihiro Arai finishes P6. And the other 3 Subarus were inside the top 12. Interesting. And then we had the 3 Hyundais, followed by the 3 Peugeots, the second Skoda, and the other 2 Citroens at the bottom. So now got a 6.16 second advantage over Carlos. Colin is still 3rd, and up to this point we have 2 Fords, 2 Mitsubishis, and 1 Subaru in the points. And of course, Richard Burns is currently best of the rest in the second Subaru. And we're rounded off by the other 2 Citroens at this time. Now we move on to stage 3.
1, go.
And so begins
Left 2. Over crest.
stage 3 of the Acropolis rally.
Into long left 4.
And
50
if my
over crest.
recent history
Into very
has taught me
long
anything,
right 4.
aside from me not particularly liking this event in this game,
Into left 4.
I've managed to hold up surprisingly well here.
Into left 3.
And I guess the main reason for that is because I have been successful in staying on the road.
Into long left 4.
But as to
50 over
what
crest.
else happens here,
Into long left 4.
well,
50
we'll just have
caution,
to
over
wait
jump.
and see
Into left 2. Into
who
long right 5.
comes away with the results.
50 right 4. Over
As we've
crest.
now passed 2 sector splits, I have a pretty sizable gap up front at the moment,
Right 4.
as of which I did have a 6-second lead heading into the stage, so
50 right 5.
it's fair to say that I can
100
afford to
left
lose
4.
just a little bit of time,
50 right 2.
because I do have
50
a reasonable
long
gap
right 4.
up at the
Over
top.
crest.
Up to this point of the rally,
50
and that's a
left
wall.
3. 100 long left 4.
But still, we seem to be hanging on alright, as I have now gained a second back again.
50 left 4. Over crest.
So,
100 long
it's fair to
right
say
4.
that we're doing alright for ourselves.
50 over crest.
Oh, fuck my ass. Can I please get back on the road? Well, there goes the stage. Fortunately, however, I did have a 6-second lead heading into the stage, so I think the time lost is not going to be too much. Well, everything was going well in the end of that stage until right at the end, when I basically had to bin it in the last corner. But you know what, I think I'll manage. So Carlos Sainz wins stage 3 with Colin McRae second and myself in third. Then we got the 2 Evo 6s and Richard Burns in the leading Pretzel. And Armin Schwartz finished best of the rest in the Skoda. And these are the rest of the results. So, I still have a 2.8 second lead over Carlos heading into stage 4. Colin is still sitting in third, with Freddie 4th, Tommy 5th, and Toshihiro holding on to 6th position by 3 seconds over Burnsy. And Alistair McRae is having a pretty good run in the Hyundai at the moment, which is one thing I wasn't expecting. And the bottom 3 are now rounded off by Marcus in the 4th Peugeot. Now we begin stage 4.
3, 2, 1, go! 50 left 2. Into right
Still have
1
a
and
2.8 second lead
50 right
out in
5.
front of Carlos in the leading Ford Focus.
200
So
left 3.
if I can set a good time here, then I think I might just be able to build up enough of a gap to realistically give me the rally win. If I can manage to stay on the road for long enough to secure victory. And at this time, we're doing pretty good for ourselves, because already I have a 4-second lead in the stage. I'm pretty sure that will decrease over these next few sectors, but I think as long as I can stay on the road long enough and not run wide through most of these corners, odds are I think we should be Gucci for the stage. And now my gap has increased up top, which surprises me. So it looks like I have the sector splits, at this time at least, in hand. But of course I'm obviously not going to jinx myself if I inevitably do get into a crash. I'm certainly not prepared to jinx myself. I now have a 7-second lead, and Colin is now in P2 over Carlos in this stage, which I think is only going to help me further, as long as I don't flip the car over. But hopefully this car will not get airborne, because if it does, then well, basically my odds of winning will be very minimal, for the stage at least. The rally I think will still be up for grabs, but the stage, however, I'm not so sure about that. But at this time at least, I am setting pretty solid sector splits, and the mistakes I've made up to this point have been kept to a minimum. As I win in the end by 10 seconds over Colin McRae, Carlos Sainz and Tommy Mäkinen in the leading Mitsubishi. Let's now save this replay and move on to stage 5. And another record-setting stage time. I'm not too surprised. And now, let's save our replay, and where hopefully this time the official segmented replay will manage to stick. Or at the very least, stand long enough for me to actually finish the episode this time. So these are the results now, as I scored a 10-second victory over Colin McRae in stage 4. Then Carlos came home in P3 with Tommy P4, Freddie P5, and Richard Burns in P6 with Toshihiro finishing P7. So I think that means his odds of scoring points now have pretty much vanished. But anyway, here's P7 to 12 with a good run from Jesus Puras in stage 4. Then we have 2 Peugeots, 2 Hyundais, the second Skoda, and the 4th Subaru, is that? Yeah, it is. And then we got 1 Peugeot, 1 Citroen, and 1 Hyundai in the bottom 3. So I got a 16.8 second lead now over Carlos, and Colin is more or less cinched with 3rd position, the way I see it. And Toshihiro, he still has a shot of scoring points, but I think his odds of scoring points this time around will probably be denied on this occasion. And Kenneth Eriksson is having a good run in the Hyundai, as he is running P12. And Thomas Radstrom now drops to the bottom of the field. Anyway. Final stage of Rally Greece. And then we can move on to Kenya.
Three, two, one, go! Left 3.
Alrighty then. Final stage of Rally Greece.
100 left.
And it's fair to say that as long as you stay on the road, you can pretty much win the Acropolis rally with relative ease. As long as you stay on the road long enough.
Into left 4.
I had a 16-second lead heading into the stage,
Into left.
so the shots of me losing this thing, unless something goes catastrophically wrong in this last stage, I would say the win is pretty much all but assured. As long as I don't wind up losing 17 seconds during the stage, then I'm pretty sure this win will be mine.
50, long right 3, tighten.
And also, Armin Schwartz is having a good run in the Skoda in this stage,
Right 4,
which is one thing I did not expect to happen, but
50, long
well,
left 4.
here we are.
50, hairpin left, over crest.
And so we begin, and that did not go the way I was wanting it to.
Caution.
Well, good thing I had a big lead heading into the stage,
Right 4,
so in case if problems like this did emerge,
50, right 4.
I would at least be ready to give myself
And finish.
an ideal but secure victory. And I've lost pretty much no time at all in the end of that stage. So, the Acropolis rally, it's definitely mine. Hands down. So in terms of the stage time as well as the rally result time, they're both P2, but I'm pretty sure I will no doubt be P1 in terms of the overall result because, well, I was just that far ahead of everyone else. So, I'm pretty sure this rally will not be an L, from what I can see. It'll very much be a W. And I have confirmed that. So Carlos Sainz wins Kanata over me, Colin, Tommy, Armin Schwartz, and Freddie Loix in the Mitsubishi. And Toshihiro Arai does manage to score the final point over RB in the end of that. I was honestly not anticipating he would get the point, but nonetheless, he fought back and got it. And the other 3 Subarus finished inside the top 12 as well. And Thomas Radstrom had a good run in the end of that stage, so I think Marcus Gronholm is going to drop to the bottom of the field here. Either him or Jesus. I don't know which one. Guess we'll just have to wait and see. But there we go. So, virtually a 16-second win over Carlos, Colin 3rd, Tommy 4th, Freddie 5th, and Toshihiro just managed to edge out teammate Richard Burns for the final point here in Greece, with Burnsy finishing best of the rest, followed by Schwartz, Delacour, and Oriol completing the top 10. And Petter Solberg was just outside the top 10. And here is the rest of the field, with Thomas Radstrom still finishing back of the pack. I guess I was wrong. Anyway. Yeah! Acropolis Rally winners, baby! Woo! I've seen this celebratory cutscene so many times. Anyway. So I now have a 31-point lead in the championship over Carlos. Tommy Mäkinen maintains 3rd position as a result of him finishing 4th. Burnsy is just holding on to 4th, ahead of Freddie and Colin, as of which Colin is now beginning his point scoring streak. And still tied for 7th between Didier and Kenneth, also a tie for 9th between Thomas and Francois, and there's a few other ties here as well, between Marcus and Armin, and also between Harry and Toshihiro, who is now the 14th driver to score points in this championship. And we still have 7 drivers left to score points. And in the constructors, another 10 points for Citroën as well as Ford, as Citroën now has a 22-point advantage at the top. Points also for Mitsubishi and Subaru. And the rest of the pack, well, they are well behind. Okay, let's now move on to Kenya for round 8.